So this month, our meetup is about Cryptoart. We have our guests who've kindly taken their time to join us. Matthew, who's an NFT producer at Nifty Gateway, and Andras, who is the owner of EtherCards. And just a quick note for a sponsor, EtherScan, just to provide us with the Zoom channel and the time and resources to be able to run this. I don't have a huge announcement this month, but last month we did try a couple Clubhouse sessions, and I think we generally got good feedback. So if you guys have any suggestions, any more interest for Clubhouse or ideas, feel free to ping me after we officially end today's meetup. We have one suggestion there to have like a joint Clubhouse conversation with the Singaporean folks, with Rahman. And since we have people here from other cities around the world as well, if you guys are interested, we can do like a joint conversation. We might need to figure out a good time that fits everyone's time zone, but we can probably work it out. And so some monthly roundup stuff. Just I think yesterday, 2nd March, AWS announced they're like giving this general support of Ethereum nodes on Amazon managed blockchain. So if you use them, it'll be very easy to like set up a node very quickly. There is a question always of, let's not everyone use AWS because then it's not very decentralized. But I think especially if you're starting out like a new dApp, that's a very good way to get a node running instead of having to figure that thing out for yourself. We also have big news of Bitfinex and Tether, who settled with the New York Attorney General's office. They have had a 2-year-long case outstanding against them, where the NYAG is claiming that the USDT isn't fully backed. It does appear that they didn't pull that sort of allegation against Tether, but they did settle it out of court. Tether paid 18.5 million US dollars, which is pretty much a slap on the wrist. I'm sure they can afford to pay much more than that. And one sort of kind of collateral damage from this is that New Yorkers are banned from accessing Bitfinex and related services, although I'm not sure how exactly they are planning to enforce that. Also, another big one was EIP 1559 has been around for ages and ages now, especially with the congestion seen last month. There was a lot of talk about when are we getting this up, but then we also had a lot of pushback from miners. So you can see on the left side there, like only one mining pool has officially announced that they're supporting it, whereas there's a lot more that said they've opposed. Just to kind of shield a little bit of my own work, I did a dashboard. I can share the link later, just to show sort of some statistics based on their position. About 63% of mining pools are known to be opposed to EIP 1559. And a couple days ago, there was like a big call kind of discussing it with the different stakeholders. I do have one thing that I guess it's a little bit recorded, but this is recorded, but just share a little bit. What I've heard in the grapevine is that some of the larger mining pools are not necessarily heavily against it, but because there are one or two of the smaller pools that have made a huge fuss about how EIP 1559 is biased against miners, and they were essentially doing this sort of customer acquisition thing, pulling miners from the bigger mining pools. So that led to some of the bigger mining pools having to officially put this position. But that's just in the grapevine. I don't know how true that is particularly. Very related for today, Chris Dixon from Andreessen Horowitz wrote a good article about NFTs and 1,000 True Fans. There was a popular essay from 2008, 1,000 True Fans, about how contributors can sort of monetize from creating art or other similar work. And NFTs is said to be able to unlock that. That's a question for the two guests later. So for more local news, Binance announced that for P2P, they're kind of allowed using e-wallet for payment. So there is Touch and Go and Grab Pay listed in this list. I don't know. I've never tried either one to make any P2P payments. If you guys, any of you have, please feel free later to share your experience. My understanding from a friend who works at Grab is that Grab doesn't officially um, accept crypto. So I don't know if Binance is doing it kind of in a roundabout way. But yeah, if you have any experience, feel free to share. I think, yeah, 2nd March also, the Science Ministry Deputy Minister said that the government, Malaysian government, have started tracing, started a project to trace the COVID-19 vaccine using blockchain. Not much more detail about it beyond that. So if anyone knows a little bit more about this, like what blockchain it is, whether it's permissionless, feel free to share as well. And lastly, we have a bunch of news around how illegal miners have either stolen a lot of electricity or have been clamped down by the police. I think there's even more than these 3 articles. I just didn't have space to put all of them. That's probably a top signal if there ever was one. And yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I can say this because the price did drop towards the end of February, but a lot of these articles came before that as well. Okay, so that's the end of the roundup. Please welcome Matthew, everyone. And Matthew, if you have any, if you want to share your screen, please feel free to do so. I'm going to stop sharing now. You're muted, by the way.
Yes, I just saw that. Excuse the muted mic. It's 4 a.m. where I'm calling in from. I'm in lovely Portland, Oregon, calling in. Nice to be here with everyone. Let me share my screen and get this slide up here so you don't have to keep looking at my COVID haircut. 1 second. Here we go.
Is it sharing?
I have to pop out and pop back. Yeah, I just gave permissions to my computer to do this. I'll hop out and hop right back in and it should be able to share. 1 sec.
Okay. Oh, wow, there's a bunch of chat messages. Patricia, does that mean it's further or closer than oh, Denver looks nice.
There we go. Let's try this one time. Okay, now I can see my windows.
All right.
Well, can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, can you see this still? Are you able to still see the slide I put in the presentation? Yep. Great. Yep, good. Okay, so this is a very simple presentation, but I feel like the contents of this are quite rich and really interesting and timely right now. The space is moving so quickly, and before we go too further, essentially, I just kind of want to go back and look at, first of all, like, why is this moment happening right now when it comes to crypto art specifically and NFTs generally? It definitely feels like a little bit as if Niagara Falls is pouring over a few cups that are the crypto art and NFT marketplaces, and everything is just overflowing. The space is getting flooded with attention. We're at nearly $250 million in sales. Over nearly 100,000 NFTs have been minted, but specifically when it comes to crypto art. The mass media is starting to pick up and use NFTs as if it's a common word now. There used to be a debate trying to figure out how to rebrand from NFTs to something else. It appears as if that is something that is not necessarily an important thing to happen, at least in the mass media today. So, like, why is it happening? Where did it come from? And where is it going? I feel like this is a really interesting chart to look at to kind of explore the history. This goes back to 2018, but I kind of want to make sure that we go back a little bit more to the roots of what's happening today. But if we look at today, obviously we see a project like Nifty Gateway, where I'm a producer at, helping artists and creators structure their drops, conceive what they want to launch, putting together the marketing, the promotion, and getting everything together for a specific drop date where they release their work to a rabid audience of nearly 50,000 collectors to purchase and buy their works. Obviously, there's something there that people are clicking with. Sales have gone up. These are amazing numbers. But everything started way back in the quiet days of 2014. Certain concepts and ideas, specifically from the Bitcoin network, talking about colored coins, trying to represent offline assets. A lot of people started with real estate as tokens, was sort of like the genesis of what we know as NFTs today. And then the Counterparty Network had a couple of different really popular experiments. I know some of you here may be familiar with the Rare Pepe experiment. And then, of course, there's Spells of Genesis and everyone's fan favorite, CryptoPunks, which it seems like Twitter profiles are just switching over to CryptoPunk-inspired avatars almost every day right now, as the floor for that project continues to rise. And then 2017, we have CryptoKitties that pops into the scene. December 2017, OpenSea first kickstarted to kind of deal with the demand that CryptoKitties brought to the scene at the end or the height of the 2017 bull. Around early 2018, we have projects like Super Rare, Moon Origin that popped into this when it comes to specifically handling Cryptoart. But then with the crash in early 2018, there's a silence that fell on the NFT space. And that's when things got really interesting. In the early community started to build up, and what comprises Cryptoart in the NFT space today got really busy building in that silence after the crash in early 2018. The Cryptoart OGs like Xcopy, Cody, Artnum, Robbie Barrett, Akatal, Miss Al Simpson, VK Crypto, Killer Acid, Rare Skrilla, and there's a lot of others that came in and started creating art and buying art. It was really a community-led mission. It was really small. Everyone knew everyone over on OpenSea, or on Super Rare specifically, rather. Prices were so low. Anything over 100 was like, wow, that was a big sale. What are you doing with that? It was really amazing times. There's also a project like Sense that I was a co-founder of and now advisor. That was a blockchain-based social network that started to attract a lot of crypto artists themselves that came and started sharing their process, started talking about what it means to tokenize art using NFTs. And the community kept building, we kept interacting. And artists like Connie Digital started to kind of talk about what they're doing in this place called the metaverse, or blockchain-based VR worlds like Cryptovoxels, where they were setting up virtual galleries for their art. And folks that were on Scent, like the co-founders of Async Art, Conlin and No Shot, they started exploring the metaverse further, sharing their art, collaborating with other people to kind of build out whole neighborhoods in these virtual worlds. Conlin, the co-founder of Async Art in particular, was instrumental in building out the shared aesthetic of the Gangnam district in Cryptovoxels, the all-Black landscape. He has a build there where after he set a then record for buying a Matt Cain work of art on Super Rare for around like $1,300 or $1,400, he housed it in his Cryptovoxels gallery. And shortly after there, around the end of 2019, I myself kind of jumped in and was a part of history when I scooped up a lot of money and Da Vinci collaboration on Super Rare for a then staggering $1,600, or like around 11 ETH. And it was crazy. People were like, what are you doing? That's worth 1 ETH. There's no real value here. But behind these purchases, the community was building. There was a Cryptoart fair that happened in CryptoVoxels. About 50 different artists came together to create commissioned art for this metaverse event that also took place in Los Angeles in the fall of 2019. And interest was growing. And around December of 2019, that's when the space had its like first big whale splash onto the scene. And that's when Whale Shark, the infamous pseudonymous figure who's behind the Whale project, who's taken his millions of dollars of crypto art, his now tens of millions of dollars of NBA Top Shots and other NFT assets, and put them into a vault and essentially tokenize them for the community to kind of take part in and share in the upside. And he came into the scene in December. And that's when things really got interesting. He started buying, again, first tens of thousands of dollars worth of crypto art, and then it quickly reached hundreds of thousands of dollars, and more artists started to pour in, right? And the community kept growing. This was really, 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 really interesting, right? And then in 2020, around February, we had NFT NYC. And that was the first time that a lot of the people in the NFT and crypto art community were able to kind of gather in place in New York City. I flew there. A lot of folks were there. People from Tri-Roll, the social money projects, were there. Everyone was there. Andrew Stein, like the list goes on and on and on and on. And right around that time, that's when Common and No Shot actually launched async art. And a then record was set for the first work that they featured there. That was a collaboration featuring many of the prominent artists in the space at the time. And I believe Metacoven scooped that up for $70,000, right? And it was like, wow, the numbers keep getting bigger. And more artists and more collectors started to come in, but it was still very small. It's like our own little project. Everyone still knows everyone. But what we've seen is that there's been a steady progression of new collectors, new big collectors. After Whale Shark, we have folks like Pablo and Colborn, the co-founders of the Museum of Crypto Art, who came in and started buying a lot of art. And around the summer, that's when they started making pretty high five-figure sales of crypto art. I think probably one of the most memorable purchases was when they bought PAX Red Pixel for like, I think it was like $55,555.55. And it was a performance purchase. It was something that kind of got people talking. I think they were featured in a couple media outlets. And again, it's just like this organic push towards people really believing that these NFTs, in particular the crypto art, hold some sort of value. And as these numbers started to go up, as more collectors started to come in, more artists start joining. And it's been really interesting to see how this community and creator-led movement has grown to a point where obviously now mainstream attention's here. We have incredible interest from musicians. Like some of the names are crazy. Justin Bieber is excited about this, actively trying to put something together. We have major rappers that have already put out NFTs that are working. We have Blau, who's self-released a tokenized album, raised tens of millions of dollars. We have, again, major film studios that are coming to this. Of course, the bigger artists from the traditional art world are starting to thinking about how to deal with digital art. Christie's, of course, we're 7 days away from the conclusion of Beeple's work that is featured there. Last I checked, it was like the bid was at $3.5 million. And again, like people played an instrumental role in coming into the scene late 2020 on Nifty Gateway and having just like, first of all, really interesting mechanics behind his drop, pricing a couple works of art at $1 each and putting it out there, having it scooped up in seconds and having the secondary market explode for this. And again, it's not all about the numbers, but the numbers have consistently been a source of attraction for folks that are not yet in the NFT and crypto art scene to come in here and see what's happening and projects that make it easy to purchase and experiment with their purchasing of NFTs, like Nifty Gateway and Maker's Place, even with their credit card and debit enabled purchases. It's constantly helped grow the scene. So now we're seeing this market driven onboarding that's starting to happen. And potentially the limit is, well, as many people are out there, because who's not potentially a collector of something? To recap everything, we started with this crypto art. We're what crypto art is today. Everything started as this community-led movement, creators doing a lot of really interesting experimentation that brought folks in that were excited and passionate about supporting these creators. And that kind of snowballed into where we are today, where just the bare basic idea of being able to buy and sell permissionlessly these rare digital assets on these open marketplaces is something that's really interesting at the end of the day. And it's powerful, and it's an idea that now you're starting to see hundreds of thousands of people on the way to 1 million start to understand and grok. And right now, with the velocity that this thing is going and the number of new artists and creators that are coming into the space wanting to do something with NFTs and crypto art, we're going to see many, many more communities onboarded to this idea of being able to buy and sell rare digital assets, which is amazing. It's great, because with this fundamental layer of understanding and this base layer of new collectors around the world, from here, this is where, heading into the future, we're going to start seeing hopefully more experimentation when it comes to things like interoperability. Other projects out there beginning to adopt, create, and popularize different standards when it comes to incorporating NFTs into their projects. And that's where the ideas of like this, like using future revenue from sales created or derived from NFTs start to come in. That's when, for musicians in some of these virtual worlds that are starting to build out, the idea of streaming music and having licenses that allow them via NFTs to hold on to the masters, if you will, and send out or sell licenses for folks to stream their work starts to come in. And a lot of different really powerful financial primitive tools powered by NFTs and DeFi and all the other bits of infrastructure that have popped up recently and that will continue to pop up in the future will become possible. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a creator-driven marketplace where the people, the ideas, the artists who are experimenting, kicking the tires and keeping the interest of their collectors and new collectors will continue to be integral to inspiring the space to move forward and grow and get excited, and to avoid something like what happened in the end of or the beginning of 2018 with the crash, when all the steam behind the ICOs and the 6-page white papers promising the whole world to folks if they just send them some ether kind of fizzled out and popped, because there is nothing behind really most of those ideas. Now we have the opportunity to actually present ready-made final products and products that continually can be integrated into the future using this NFT infrastructure. So I hope you all appreciated this very simple presentation. I was very tired in the morning, so I hope this is enough. But I just wanted to recount the history of the space and kind of shed a light on everything that came before and how that's important and everything that will come into the future. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Matthew. There are some questions for you, but I'm gonna keep it for later. For now, thanks, Matthew, for giving us a brief look into the past of NFTs. and up until the present. And I think Andras has some things to share that potentially points to the future of NFT art. So Andras, if you're okay to unmute and share your screen.
Yep, I'm good. Shall I start?
Yeah. Do you have slides to share?
I will show some browser windows, not slides.
Okay.
But I just want to have a couple of words before I do that.
Cool.
Okay. So hello everybody. My name is Andras Kristóf. I'm from EtherCards. We are in the space since 2013. We did quite a few things. Some of you might know us from the audience. We started in 2013. We built the first Bitcoin ATM in Asia and deployed it in early 2014. And then we switched to Ripple because there was no Ethereum yet. We removed XRP so it cannot be pumped and built in rig signatures from Monero so it is more private, and built a distributed asset management system. Then as soon as Ethereum came out in late 2014, we started to work with Ethereum, and we've been working with Ethereum ever since, worked with quite a few big names. We did projects for Consensys. We built oracles for Consensys before Chainlink existed. We did quite a few things with NFTs as well many years ago. One of the things we did the NFT ticketing for Devcon Osaka, and we are going to do the NFT ticketing for the Bogota Devcon whenever the Devcon is going to be. So we have been around NFTs for a long time. And there was a particular project that we started about a year ago, which was a blockchain-based educational project, very kindly supported and funded by the Ethereum Foundation, which was about to issue certificates on the blockchain, which was going well, and we did well. But like 3-4 months into the development implementation, I realized that there is no business case, no business model behind the project. So when the funding is over, the project likely may or may not survive. So we started to think about in what ways we can create monetization structure for a project like that. And there is this Death Valley of crypto project. I think many of us knows this from the industry. If you are doing a financial project, like anything food-based where you can have the number go up, then you will get funded because people will come and give you money. But if you are not doing a financial project, but you do something else like education, or even like a dedicated, a distributed VPN, or for example, like a job board or anything like that, getting funded is very difficult because the crowd will not come to you as easily, and VCs will stay away from you usually because the VCs like to monetize by selling the customer data. And if you are doing a blockchain project right, you don't have customer data to sell. So there is this problem with the space, and we wanted to find a solution for that. So I came up with the idea of an NFT-based funding and monetization framework that can be used to monetize and fund non-financial projects, open source, open technology projects on the blockchain. And in order to pilot it, we were looking for use cases, and we decided to use EtherCards as the use case for it. So that's how the project started, and it kind of blew up like 3-4 weeks ago in a good way. And now we feel we are living in a slow-mo nuclear explosion. So let's see how it goes. But so far, this is amazing. And what I would like to do now is to show you the project. I want to show you both parts. I want to show you the platform, EtherCards, and I want to show you the NFT token and the tokenization system behind it, which is technically an NFT-based monetization / funding framework. So if you allow me, let me share my screen and then I'll get started. I think it's going to take another 10 minutes and then we can have questions. Share screen, okay. So, okay, I assume you can see my screen. May I get a feedback?
Yep.
Thank you.
You can.
Thank you. So this is the teaser page of EtherCard. This is the counter with the 14 days left, and it shows the two important parts of the project: the platform and the token. I'm going to go in this order, and I'm going to explain the platform first. The platform is a monetization and gamification framework for NFTs. It is a framework for artists, NFT holders, and marketplaces to gamify and monetize the NFTs better. What we are going to do, we are going to release a series of tools or games for the artists / marketplaces that they can utilize to create engagement around NFTs, so you can do something with it other than buying, selling, and holding. And what we are going to do, we're going to roll out a couple of these engagements. We're going to start with 2, but we've got already 6 or 7 very interesting ones in the pipeline. I'm going to explain these 2 very simple ones. The first one is raffle. Raffles are very simple. There is no innovation in this from the sense that it's a simple raffle. You can open a raffle. Anybody can open a raffle on the platform. You can upload your NFT. You can say that you want to mint 100 tickets. Each ticket is 0.1 Ether, and then you go and people can buy the tickets. They can discover the raffles. They can buy the tickets, and when the last ticket is sold, the smart contract reaches out to Chainlink VRF. It gets a verified random number, a winner is selected, the winner withdraws the NFT, and you can withdraw the money for the tickets. I can actually show it to you because I got that in the testnet. So this is an earlier version of the page with the different raffles. You can select one of the NFTs. The NFT will show up, and you will be able to buy the tickets. Your tickets will show up, and all the tickets are gone. The raffle will be automatically resolved by the smart contract. I cannot show it to you because I forgot to fund this wallet with the Rinkaby Ether. So you just have to believe me. But you can come here, actually, you try it yourself. So this is very simple, but it can be very powerful. Think about it. You've got a 20 Ether floor punk. Yes, because even the cheapest punks are now is like around 20 Ether, which is crazy. But you've got this 20 Ether floor punk. You upload it to a raffle. You mint 100 tickets, and you say each ticket will be 0.3 Ether. People will come. They will see, here is a punk which worth at least 20 Ether, but they have a fair chance to get it for 0.3 Ether. So people will buy the tickets, and the lucky one will actually get the punk for 0.3 Ether. And you just sold your 20 Ether punk for 30 Ether. So this can be used in many different ways, and this can actually create engagement between the artist and their audience. The second game that we are coming out with is called a bingo. We use the term a bit liberally. It is not technically a bingo. It's more like a puzzle game. The way it works, I think I can show an early version of this as well. We go back here, and on this page, here is one bingo. This is just a test. This is just a demo of a bingo. So in this particular page, the user who is visiting this page has the 7 cat NFTs in their wallet. So the system will, when you load the bingo page, the smart contract will know which NFTs make sense in the context of the bingo and will display the NFTs. And then, as you can see, the corresponding 7 cats are also highlighted in the original artwork. But you can also see there is a lot more cats that are not highlighted. So the objective of the game, very simple. You need to find the NFTs, purchase, buy, exchange, to get all the missing cats. And when you collected all the 16 cats, all the cats will be highlighted on the picture, and you can claim the prize. The price can be anything. It can be an Ether, can be another very expensive NFT token, or it can be ERC20 tokens, so it can actually be used for promotion as well. We've got quite a few interesting versions of this game, but even without the versions, this can be used in many different ways. For example, imagine that you've got 15 out of the 16 cats and you just can't find the last one. So what you can do, for example, you can create your own bingo and specify that missing cat as the solution for that bingo. And then say you put up 2 ethers for that, and whoever can supply for that one cat can get the 2 ethers, and you get the missing card that you can use to complete your puzzle. So basically, you can turn this bingo into a bounty. And again, there is a lot of different ways that you can use it. And for example, the other way, if the prize is another NFT, then it is possible to set up a higher level of puzzle where you need to find those NFTs through multiple bingos and then collect them into a bingo game, which requires those NFTs. Important point here is that if you claim the prize for something, then you will lose the NFTs that you use to complete the puzzle. So it means we are technically incentivizing people to give up their NFTs for short-term profit. This seems simple, but it has very interesting consequences on the long term. One question that usually comes up at this point is, how do you acquire these cards? This can be anywhere. I mean, this can come from all the big and important platforms. For example, from Nifty or OpenSea or for somewhere else, and you can use those NFTs to create a bingo, or you can actually choose to mint it on EtherCards. If you choose to mint it on EtherCards, then you can also specify the rarity of each of the cats. You can say this cat is much more rare than this cat, and this cat is so this cat is much more common than this cat. And then you can also specify the maximum issuance of each of the members of the series. And once you did that, the system will automatically offer you to create blind bags. Blind bags or sealed bags of cards are a very known common structure in real world collectible card games. Like when you buy a bag of Pokemon cards, you don't know what cards are in the bag. You only know that there is 10 cards inside, but you don't know which one. You open it and you see it. Same concept here. Once you created your series, the system can automatically create these bags and sell these bags for you. In fact, the system will be able to create multiple types of bags, which should be here, but somewhere it got removed. I will have to fix that. For example, this bag is the cheapest, but has the least chance of having the rare cat. And there could be a bag which is more expensive, but it has more chance of getting the rare cards inside. So in this way, you create engagement and you create interaction and create reasons for people to buy NFTs, not only because they know what it is, but also because they don't know what's on it. So these are the first 2 engagements that we are coming with, but there is a lot more that is in the pipeline. And this will be released regularly after the first 2 ones. The important part of this platform is that it is technically a B2B platform. The real importance of this gamification and monetization platform can be realized when big marketplaces, again, right, like Nifty or like OpenSea, will integrate with them and will make it available to their users, so they can create this kind of engagements, bingos, raffles, and all the other things natively from their platform. They don't even have to visit EtherCards, but they can use the same set of security audited smart contracts. It's good for us because we make a little bit of money. It's good for them, and it's definitely good for their customers. Regarding the business model, we make it very simple. When you create a raffle or create a bingo, you pay a setup fee. Right now it's set to 0.1 Ether. And after that, it's all yours. Whatever you make, however many tickets you sell or don't sell, if you make 10 Ether or 10,000 Ether, we don't care. We don't take a cut. We take the setup fee and we don't reach into your pocket. The rest of the money is yours. So this is the platform. And now I would like to spend another 5 minutes to explain the token that that comes with the platform, and then we can have questions.
Andras, can I give you 2 minutes because we're kind of a bit over time, so just rush it a little bit.
I will do my best, sir.
Go ahead.
The token looks like a normal NFT card. It has a serial number. It goes from 0 to 9,999. It has rare art created by real artists who provided this art for these cards, for these NFTs. But other than that, it also has a set of traits, and these traits are very important because these traits are made to work well with the platform, with the EtherCards platform. Some traits are for creators, some for players, and some for technically everybody. I will show you 3 examples just to shorten the time. For example, if you have a card in your wallet which is connected with the EtherCards contract, which has the free bingo setup trait, you don't have to pay for setting up a bingo. It's technically free for you. You don't need to do anything. You just keep this card in your wallet. If you are a player and if you want to buy blind bags and if you have the lucky trait on your card, then whatever blind bag you buy, even the cheapest ones, you will get the content of the best ones. So basically, the system will max out your luck because you have the lucky trait on your card. One more thing is the royalty trait. This is very special. It's technically every transaction service fee that goes into the EtherCard smart contract, 1% of every transaction will go to the owner of this card. There is only one card out of the 10,000, but in order to make the chances better, we have one card with 1%, 10 cards with 0.1%, and 100 cards with 0.01% of this royalty trait. So we're basically giving up 3% of the revenue of EtherCards and giving away it for 111 lucky people who will get these cards. And as the last thought, these traits are special because these are forever. Later on, the platform will support for you to purchase new traits, but all of those traits will actually be limited either by time expiration date or by a certain amount of use. They will disappear. But the traits on these cards, which is going to be sold in 14 days, are forever. And as you can see, this platform and this card can actually be very easily used for any other platform out there. You can actually, let's say SushiSwap can actually issue their own sushi cards with the sushi traits that will let you swap 2 assets on their platform without paying the exchange fee. And any other project, any other service-based project, even if it is not financial-based, can utilize this feature token system to raise funds and to monetize themselves. I'm done.
Thank you, Andras. Okay, there's a bunch of questions here. I think typically I ask my own question first, but I think there's a lot of questions, so I think and because I messed up earlier, so we'll get the audience questions for both Andras and Matthew. But I just have one question before that is because both of you have been around in NFT for a while, and Matthew, I know you've been involved in a bunch of other sort of NFT related communities. So can both of you give a little bit more introduction, especially around the other NFT stuff that you've been working on? Matthew first.
Yeah, so in addition to being an NFT producer at Nifty Gateway, and in addition to being a co-founder and advisor at Cent, which kind of before I had kind of left the day-to-day there, we set up a project called Valuables early December of last year, where we started tokenizing tweets. And again, it was really a fun experiment showing that like almost anything that can be tokenized will be tokenized, but then applying the scarcity dynamic that was popular and is popular in crypto art collecting, where that one tweet signed by the original author that then on the surface at least cannot no longer be minted again, proved to be something that was interesting to the folks that have been in the space, and especially in the context of the broader story of a lot of the previous works of art that have been released. For example, artists like Cody, who had tweeted out many years ago about a particular piece that they're putting up on the marketplace that eventually obviously had been acquired by another collector. That collector then went through Cody's Twitter feed, found the corresponding tweet to the artwork that he collected, and bought the tweet to kind of complete the story. So that was an interesting project that I was a part of. And then Harith knows that I'm also the creator and host of the weekly WHIP Meetup, which is a metaverse event, not strictly focused on NFTs, but incorporates a lot of projects going on in NFTs, crypto artists, as well as the DeFi space, to kind of bring people together every Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific, to share 2 to 3 minute short and sweet updates on their latest works in progress, to kind of cross-pollinate these interesting ideas that are happening largely in their own little silos, as a way to not bring the different communities together, to have this really fun time in these blockchain-based, NFT-powered VR worlds like Cryptovoxels and Decentraland. So that's sort of like the other projects that I had been directly involved in when it comes to the intersection of NFTs and all the amazing things going on in the space.
Thanks, Matthew and Andras.
I've been dealing with NFTs for quite a while as well, constantly seeking to find ways to teach them new tricks. And I think most of our experience and ideas are going to put into EtherCards, both into the platform and into the token. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Oh yeah, and Matthew, I do know you have a art gallery on Cryptovoxels, if I'm not mistaken. You might want to share the link in the chat so people can see your collection.
Oh yeah, as I'm finding and fumbling around with my browser, these weary eyes. Yeah, crypto art collecting is something that, again, because of my connection with Cent and meeting all these artists, I became a bit of a collector about 2.5 years ago, which is quite fortunate given the latest state of the market. I was able to acquire a bunch of classics from some of the amazing artists, the crypto OGs, I think they're calling themselves right now, which has been just absolutely insane. And I've done a bit of writing on the topic. So like, I know people are coming into the space and it's great to just collect exactly what you love. And I'm just trying to kind of temper the expectations of speculative profit with like a great collector's mentality, which is when you come into the space, even if you do want to make a return on your investment, make sure that at the end of the day, you are only buying what you love. And in a metaverse future where you wake up every day in VR and you have to look at your wall, if you are not happy, or if you won't be happy looking at this piece that you're thinking about buying today, 50 years into that metaverse future, don't buy it. Only buy what you love. but yeah, like Hadith was mentioning, I have this Cryptoart Stadium that I call it in CryptoVoxels, where I hang all of my work. Let me enter my MetaMask so I can unlock the URL real quick as I'm stalling. Oh, I'm not on my personal computer. I'll share that in the chat in a second.
Yeah,
as we
it's okay.
get to the next question.
Yeah. In the meantime, there's a bunch of questions. I want to make sure we kind of rotate the question between the two speakers. So maybe the next one I can ask Andras in the chat. There's actually 4 questions. Let's see. So
yeah, it's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. So if you can see it, you can kind of repeat it quickly for the listeners and then answer it.
Oh, this one. So how far along is the platform in its current state? The raffle is ready to be deployed. The bingo, I'm still working on it. It was supposed to be get ready by the release, but we got a little bit off guard by the amount of PR and interaction I need to do with the community. So that is a bit behind schedule, but after a week or 2, we will be able to deploy the bingo as well. The platform to creators to create cards to put on the various market spaces, or it is meant to consumers to play. We don't want to become a platform. We've got great platforms like Nifty, like OpenSea, like others. We want to become a tool set. So people, yes, you will be able to create NFTs on the platform, but you can just take your NFTs from the other platform and gamify it here. So the platform is a tool set that connects the creators and the players and creates engagements. We don't want to become an NFT marketplace. Up to what extent does the platform cover from creation of the card games until the minting and drop process? We're going to start with simple processes. You can create the tokens, you can create the engagements, and we will get more and more complex eventually. I want to provide everybody a tool set so they can do pretty much anything that that collectible card games can do, and way more than that. Think about NFTs that will starve and disappear and die if you don't feed them, or lose powers when you move them. So there's a lot of things that with this platform we can add to standard NFTs. One thing is important, the way we did it, we don't need to modify the standards. So we can use straight up 721s, we can use straight up 1155s. We don't need to modify the contract. We don't need special tokens for this. Can you customize the smart contracts of the cards to change the royalty rules? Absolutely. You can actually set your own rules and connect it with your own site and make cards do whatever you want on your platform.
Okay, thanks, Andras. Okay, so flipping to Matthew next, there's a question from Kirk. I'm interested in the interaction of large physical art with digital art and fully NFTized art. Think monument scale bronze sculptures with integrated digital art in it. So does Nifty Gateway have any ideas or a roadmap for this use case?
So I don't know specifically about large scale bronze statues. That's like super specific. But a lot of the artists that we are working with are thinking about how to pair physical art with the digital. And there's a few different like possible vectors to go from there, right? So assigning equal value to the physical and the digital item and making sure that they're linked in a specific way. You see people that are incorporating like QR codes as a way to kind of bind the digital NFT asset to the physical. You're seeing other experiments with folks that are trying to say, well, you can either have the digital NFT or you can have a physical. So like there's a redeeming aspect that they're experimenting with, where on Nifty, like, of course, we would drop the digital NFT, folks would collect it, and then they would have the option to, in many cases, burn the NFT to redeem the physical, or just use the NFT as a ticket to say, hey, I own the NFT, please send me the physical. When it comes to like large scale installations in like major museums or major metropolitan areas or something like that, it's not something we've seen kind of experimented with yet, but I feel like with the current wave of interest, I'm expecting to hopefully interact with a big city thinking about how they can incorporate NFTs into their cultural heritage heading forward. That would be really interesting in that physical and digital sense.
Oh, that's cool. If there's anyone here who is like has relation to the Malaysian kind of museum or art space, feel free to reach out. Okay, then question on EtherCards. Jonathan asks, Andras, will the cards and traits of the cards be revealed as you buy them on 18th March or all at the end when the 10,000 cards are sold?
All at the end. All at the end, so nobody will know whether the best traits have been already dished out or not yet. So when the cards, basically either when the 10,000 cards are sold or after 3 weeks, this is the current plan, we will close it, close the sale, and then all the cards and the trades get revealed.
Okay, cool. By the way, if anyone has any questions you want to ask verbally, feel free to unmute yourself. Just take a quick pause just so I can see your name at the top, and then you can ask your question directly. Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of like randomly pick from the chat that we have so far. So Matthew, someone's asking, how do they get in touch with you to get introduced onto Nifty? There's quite a queue right now. If you can answer that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, in terms of getting in contact with me, you can find me on Twitter at Nifty Time. I'm pretty responsive on there in the DMs. They should be open. You can read my writing on cent.co/Matthew. And then anyone that's interested or is an artist that wants to reach out and talk about how they could potentially get on Nifty Gateway, feel free to email me as well if that's more convenient. Matthew.ferrick@gemini.com. I left that in the chat here too, so feel free to copy that down and use that. Like Hadith mentioned, we do have quite a queue. In terms of our drop schedule, we're basically fully booked up until the end of July, which is crazy. And just more inbound interest comes in every day. But I'm very happy to talk to everyone, give advice if we can't fit you into the schedule, and then talk about some really cool updates that we have coming to hopefully alleviate that schedule issue that we have right now with our drop schedule constraints.
Cool. Then Andras, Bitsika asked, how are features of EtherCards like royalty-related ones related to EIP 2981 royalty standard, or if it's related at all?
They are not. No, they are not right now. This is, we wanted to create an implementation that can be used with straight 721s and 1155s. So right now they are not related to any of the other standards. The thing is with those royalties, it's a longer discussion, but royalties in that sense are usually connected with the platform and with a platform. And if you move the cards from or the NFTs from a platform, it's much less likely that can be enforced. We do have a royalty system on the EtherCards, but if you want to do an actually truly legit royalty system, you need to give up on two notions. The first thing is that you should not that you cannot actually take royalty on the secondary market sales if you want the cards to be truly free. What you can do, you can incentivize the buyer on the secondary market to pay the royalty because it's good for them, but you cannot enforce it. If you enforce it, then you have already taken actions that made that NFT not actually freely movable. The other thing is that you need to give up. If you think about it, you cannot make the royalty the percentage of the sales price, because it's impossible to know the sales price in an open and permissionless blockchain. I can send you the NFT, and you may pay for it with a bag of potatoes, or you pay for it with cash, or you pay for it with an interpretive dance. There is no way to have a percentage on that, and you need to give up this notion. So what you can do there, you can do two things. You either put a very low amount, a reasonable amount, which people will be able to pay after they acquire the cards, and they can say, okay, I know that if I want to do this and this and that with the cards, then I need to pay this amount. But that amount has nothing to do with the actual purchase price, because again, it is impossible to know for sure, and it can be very easily hidden. So don't even bother. So the only way that what you can do, you can either put a very small price on it, or you can price the card or price the art according to your own standards, and you say this card or this art worth this much, so you need to pay 10% of that. But again, you cannot actually use the actual purchase price as the basis, unless it is on a specific platform. But if you are restricting it to a specific platform, then you are doing stuff with NFTs that I don't think the system was built for.
And to clarify, for example, it would be like a Rarible, where a platform you can sell and the creator gets.
Yes, but if the token is being sold on another platform, or just trade between two wallets, the Rarible royalty cannot be enforced. And this is something that you need to accept, because there is no way around it. You either log the token, or you give up the notion of enforceable royalties.
Okay, cool. I have a cool question here from Jonathan. Is there any possible collaboration between Nifty and EtherCards? Wink.
I can definitely answer from my side. We would like to, because again, we don't want to be a marketplace. We want to provide tools for the marketplaces. So yes, absolutely, we would love to speak.
Yeah, and very, very happy to continue that conversation, Andres. So
thank you very much.
Happy to meet you here, and happy to schedule something up after we finish this up.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, I think there's actually the very first question from the earlier Zoom link. Someone asked for Matthew, what's your definition of the metaverse? It seems a loose, subjective concept.
No, totally. Very, very loose and subjective. I usually go to what Andrew Steinwald said and how he defined it. It's a digital space where folks live, work, and play, and essentially like earn a living at this point. So that can mean even Twitter, in a sense, applies to that. People are essentially living and playing on Twitter all day. A lot of people, especially artists, use it as their main means of distribution, sharing information on their latest drop to drive them to the marketplaces. But it could also be like a blog like Sense, sort of powered by the blockchain that facilitates these cross-chain payments and things like that. And of course, most obviously, some of these blockchain powered VR worlds like CryptoVoxels, Decentraland, Somnium Space, and hopefully super soon the Sandbox, which we can get in there and enjoy some of the community games that world is ready made for. So that's sort of how I define it: a digital space where you live, work, and play. Very broad still. I'm sure it'll get more defined, but a question and a topic that I definitely love to talk about. Great question.
Cool. And Andras, I think Harry actually asked this a couple times for you. Didn't understand the no fee concept.
No. There is no fee. No fee. There is no taking percentage. So what we do, if you want to set up your bingo, you pay a small setup fee, 0.1 Ether, and then you can do your bingo, you can issue your tickets, and whatever money you get from your ticket sale, it is all yours. We don't take a cut on that. And of course, you will have to pay the gas fees. So we can't do much about that. Although we are moving probably to optimism. And once we move to optimism, gas fees will be much, much more manageable. But yes, there is a fee. There is a small setup fee, 0.1 Ether right now. But after that, whatever you get from the sale of your tickets is all yours. We don't take a cut.
Interesting that Andras mentioned optimism. On an anecdotal basis, I noticed a bunch of NFT projects have moved to Matic. So I don't know if maybe Matthew, do you have any opinion on, let's say, if Nifty Gateway have plans to move to a specific side chain, or from what you've heard from other projects, what's the kind of popular one?
Yeah, so can't comment on the Nifty Gateway situation, but for Cent, we have direct experience building on Matic, especially when we built out that valuables project where we're tokenizing tweets. So the integration with Matic was actually super streamlined. We incorporated payments on the Ethereum blockchain. So folks that are familiar with buying or transacting in ETH or any other ERC20 are able to buy and sell using ETH on Ethereum and settle that way. And in that sense, even if gas costs are high, it's not prohibitively expensive compared to minting on the Ethereum blockchain. So that when someone wanted to buy a tweet, if they actually, the tweet original author sold it, the minting of it would happen right on the Matic blockchain in the background, and everything would be abstracted. And since OpenSea at the time of when we created Valuables was in the process of getting ready to integrate a lot of the projects that were on Matic into the OpenSea store, so you could effectively see the assets and purchase them and interact with them. Like, we thought it was a great way to go, and it seems that with the way the industry is going and the building that's happening on there today as well, projects like Avagachi, just to name one, it definitely seems like the right direction. And as the economy over there starts to build up and folks start transacting natively within Matic, it will become even more interesting, because from a user experience perspective, the low to no cost transaction fees that layer 2 solutions like Matic present just makes it so much better to interact, and it increases the velocity of interaction and buying and selling and playing of the games that interacts with the blockchain and needs that sort of settlement layer and things like that. And the ease of access to get over to Ethereum, I think, will continue to improve. And yeah, it's an amazing project. The team's really helpful. Folks that are familiar with building on Ethereum can get over to Matic relatively easily. So yeah, nothing but the highest praises for a project like Matic. I know there's other solutions out there too, like Near Protocol and things like that. But I can't speak to them as much as I can to Matic.
Okay, cool. So yeah, actually,
Oh, yeah,
I was just gonna say,
sorry.
yes, it's Polygon. I'm referring to the ticker
I hate
symbol.
These brands.
Yeah. Fadli has a question, I believe, for Andras. How does the pack work in the smart contracts? You package the NFTs and the element of randomness to include rare NFTs?
No, yeah. So basically, when you can do packs with series that were created on EtherCards, and what happens when you buy a pack? You are not actually buying a pack of NFTs. Then the system will get a VRF random number from Chainlink and mint 10 NFTs in that series right there. So these are not prepackaged NFTs, which is just the visual representation, because that helps people to understand what's going on. But basically, they are going to be minted based on the rarity constraints created by the creators of those series.
Okay, cool. I believe that's the questions from the audience. So unless you guys have more, I can get to my own questions that I delayed. This is I guess a relatively personal one, and there might be people here who have a similar question. So I have a friend who is an artist. He creates like GIF kind of images. He's checked out the art NFTs for the last like 1 or 2 months, but his opinion is that it feels like the only artists that can make it in the NFT world are those who already have a following, like your Beeples and people who have like thousands of followers on Instagram. Do you have any comments on that?
18 million. He has 18 million, not thousands. Okay.
No, I mean for other at least thousands of fans. But what about those who don't have a following already? How can they participate in the NFT creator economy? I guess either of you can answer.
So, I mean, this is a common question that comes up, and it's sort of like a chicken and egg problem, a cold start problem, right? You have to kind of get your work out there, first of all. And then a lot of people say you need to get on social media and like talk about yourself, share your work, which, I mean, you can do that, but no one really wants to listen to someone talk about their own work, right? So one of the easiest ways to kind of get involved in the community would be to kind of just interact with other folks who share like their latest drop, or who may be on like a clubhouse or a podcast. Kind of get in there and raise your hand, let folks know like, hey, I'm an artist, I'm doing cool things, I'm on Super Rare or wherever, Rareable or OpenSea, right? I appreciate your work, and kind of like just being a member of the community and having, and when you do that, artists, I do this too. I'm not an artist, but just you click through the link and you're able to see, oh, this person has a great storefront. Wow, they have good art. Oh, it's an amazing price point. They have some pieces that are for sale that I can just boom right away buy. I think it's really important, interacting and then making sure that you have art out there that folks can purchase. And I feel like as soon as you do that, as soon as you get that first collector, you're on the road to your next collector. Then you're on your road to 100, and just like that Kevin Kelly, like 100 true fans, right? Or 1,000 true fans. It's just that process along the way. And another interesting dynamic is that, well, even if you do quote unquote make it and you get this collector base, well, other people seem to be more successful. And that's always going to be the case. But if you sort of analyze the trends of certain artists, you see that in certain moments, they're definitely more popular and more sought after than others. And it's sort of like fashion, or it's sort of like any other collectible, where like Pokemon 10-ish years ago, maybe 15, I'm a little bit old now, I guess, super popular. It was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. Then it cooled off. And then Pokemon Go came, and then it cooled off. Right? Same thing with fashion, same thing with artists and things like this. Everyone seems to have their time and their moment. As soon as that new collector comes in and gets super passionate, it starts to spark a wave of interest in them. But again, to begin, get involved in the community, talk about other people's art, how it's cool, maybe how it relates to yours, indirectly link back to what you're doing, and make sure that you have some art on sale that people can scoop up right away. That's super important.
Cool, thanks. There's a couple questions for Andras. I think you've answered some of them already, but just for the benefit of people who will be watching the recordings later. So Raman's asking whether EtherCards code will be open sourced and MIT licensed.
Yes, it is open source and MIT licensed. The whole thing, the whole importance of this kind of monetization strategy, that this can be used for open source MIT licensed technologies that are using open platforms, because these are the projects that gets that has the most problems getting monetized, because they want to be true to their ideas, and they want to create something that can be used by others. And so the fundamental goal and the final form of EtherCards is to get this monetization platform given to the community or offered to the community. So projects that want to be open source, want to use open technologies and distributed technologies, and don't want to monetize user data, and they don't want to create a financial project, they can still monetize themselves. I can talk about longer why it is going to work, but I don't want to take the time for that. But the system was designed that the assets that you issue, like in this case, the cards that you issue, the cards will be valuable if the platform will have traction. So if the platform will do well, the cards will worth a lot, because they provide free or heavily reduced services for for a fairly small selection of the holders. So those cards will work well. But if the platform is not doing well, the cards will be worthless. So one of the business goals behind this monetization system that I built is that finally we can have a blockchain-based monetization, which is not absolutely just hype and speculation, but actually there is a correlation between the asset price and the project's performance. Imagine that.
Okay, so a couple more questions for you, Andras.
Sure.
Some platforms allow for nesting of NFTs. Does your platform handle the card pack similarly?
Not yet. We only do with 721s for now. We want to keep increasing the range. We want to be able to take 1155s and other standards as well. But right now it's 721.
Okay, and then the other question was, just to clarify, in order to mint the cards into NFTs, is that handled on your platform or on other platforms like Nifty?
We have a whitelist, so you can do it on on our platform, but you can do it on Nifty, on OpenSea, and in the couple of other platforms. So if those platforms are in the whitelist, you can utilize them with EtherCards. It's not because we want to limit it; it's because we want to avoid getting NFTs that are not well reviewed. How do I say this? Yeah. So we want to make sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, this is one of my questions for both of you. So recently, I believe it was hash masks that had a little bit of sort of drama with them on Twitter, where people were saying on their token contract itself, there's no actual link to IPFS. And this is so at EtherCards, I've seen a bunch of NFT projects who they have metadata such as images, but it's stored on a centralized server. And so theoretically, the company or project can change the underlying image. And so that NFT that you own isn't actually tied to a particular image. So just at first, what are your thoughts on this kind of situation that we see in the space?
Matthew, go ahead. Thank you. I think it's a disgrace. I think this should not happen. This is I don't know if it's laziness or what, but I do not think that this is proper this way. I don't think it is very much acceptable to have an NFT token that people buy for 100 Ether or more, that it basically only has a serial number, and if the servers go down, you can't actually get the image of the token. This is not rocket surgery to put it into the token. So I think I don't like this practice.
Yeah, given the prices that hash masks were fetching and the hype around it, it feels, and there's also other questions like 77 artists, are they all real? Like there's just like a lot of question marks unanswered about the project that to me as a collector were kind of warning signs that we're like, kind of stay away from this, watch it from afar, see what happens. It looks good aesthetically. I mean, I don't think anyone could really argue with that, but to Andres's point, it's kind of a lazy practice, not upfront with the collector. And again, like if the project goes away, everything's pretty much gone. The original images, boom, like what are you collecting? Just that serial number. So I feel like it's really important for projects to be thoughtful about how they deal with the root images, whether they're using IPFS or they're thinking a little bit longer term with something like Arweave and the permaweb, or they're going full on-chain gang with like what a lot of the generative art projects are doing on artblocks.io and trying to put most of the metadata on-chain to call it up and to really have it become sort of this forever art and really put thought behind how they deal with that. So that's sort of my thoughts of very, very aligned with you, Andres.
So on that particular note, Matthew, that you mentioned, so I do know there are some projects that have put the sort of SVG data directly on chain. So for example, I think Avastars has like this render Avastar function. But it's very heavy, right? Like it's a huge amount of data that's on chain. So do you know any other approaches that other projects have done to make it more sustainable?
I'm not sure if there's any on Ethereum blockchain, if there's any other way to make things more sustainable. I know there are other projects like that are stepping in the footsteps of a project like Avastars. These different projects that are launching on artblocks.io are largely following that on-chain approach, trying to put the majority of, again, like the generative art kernels and like linking to, even if they're using more open sourced protocols and things like that, to link, just putting all that associated metadata on chain. Again, it's very heavy. It's not for every sort of project, especially for animated projects or things that you're seeing on like a super rare or a Nifty Gateway, where file sizes are over 100 megabytes, approaching 300 megabytes. Like, it's not for that. It seems like there definitely will need to be a better solution built out around what folks more commonly associate today with popular forms of crypto art and collectibles. But look at what is happening at a project like artblocks.io that is working with a large number of these generative artists focused on doing things on chain and where they're going. I feel like the next solution when it comes to a more sustainable approach, or approach that could be potentially leveraged by other crypto artists not doing things like generative art, could be something that they discover and then share with the rest of the community.
Let me see. There's a question here to sort of explain what I meant by the image is separate from the token. I don't know if either of you are.
Yeah, I can do it.
Can explain it for the others here.
Yes, in particular, in let's say, for example, in the Hashmasks NFT, there is no pointer, no any data that actually shows or points to the image. All they have is a serial number that goes from 1 to or 0 to 16,000. So all you have in the token is a serial number, and then that token that you need to access the company's web servers, where they look at the serial number. Okay, this is token number 3, and then they will display you the picture for that token. But if they would decide to replace the image with Twerky Pepper, then you would see Twerky Pepper, and there is nothing that you could do against it, because it's their discretion to say, okay, this is number 3, this is your image, there you go. And there is nothing in the token that would actually help you to prove otherwise, that that was not the image. No hash, no link, no URL, no nothing, just a serial number which goes from 0 to 16,000.
Yep. I hope that explains it for Dash that asked the question. So he's also asked Matthew, can you share what are the selection criteria for getting approved on Nifty?
Yeah, so we definitely take a holistic approach, but like as a common rule of thumb, we like to look at obviously more established artists, people that are just starting out. There's a lot of other options for them. Again, like a Rarible, OpenSea, applying to other projects, even like a super rare, known origin, Maker's Place, even other newer projects like Ephemera, focus more on like photography and video art. But for us, we like to look at the artists, their social engagement, whether they have a large following or not. Like, how robust is their community? How engaged are they? If they post on Instagram or if they post on Twitter, like, are people retweeting them, commenting? Are they engaging with them? That's incredibly important. Also, like a history of actually maybe selling something to their fan base. If they're artists, obviously that could mean prints in the physical sense. It could mean other digital art. If they're different type of creator, it could be selling music, records, et cetera, et cetera. Just having a connection with the community in a way that the community is actively supporting the creator is a really, really important criteria that we look for. And then also just like the passion they want to create, and they're trying to push the bounds of the space forward. People coming in, especially right now, there's a lot of great people, but there's a lot of people that are just trying to hop on board to kind of so they don't miss the bus, so they can take advantage of the boom that's happening right now. And that doesn't really help anyone if they just want to get in. We want people that are passionate about creating, about their craft, and about doing incredibly cool shit and trying to experiment and push the bounds forward and use NFTs in a way that allows them to do something that they weren't able to do before. It wasn't easy to do before. So it's a really broad, general criteria. We like to talk to everyone. It's case-by-case basis, but those are general rules of thumb that we look for.
Thanks, Matthew. Murshid, you have a raised hand. Feel free to unmute yourself. You should be able to do that. Unless it was by accident. And if you don't unmute yourself, I'm just gonna skip you. We are at 9:39 p.m. Malaysian time, which is quite a bit past the time that was promised to us by the speakers. So I just have one last question, I think, from my end, and it's a softball question. So just to end it, so feel free to answer this in your own way. But it's the kind of the most basic question that people ask of, if it's a digital image, what's stopping me from copying it and then enjoying it for myself? So where does that value come from? And maybe Matthew can answer first.
I mean, you can go to the Louvre and take a picture of the Mona Lisa. No one's going to buy that, right? Everything goes back to like the authentic creation. NFTs enable the artists to specify what is the authentic digital asset that is provably rare, and you can determine who owns that at any given time. You can copy paste an image of a work of art that Cody or X copy or Beeple created and try to sell that. But if you don't have that signature to prove that you're a Beeple or Cody or an X copy, or along that chain of provenance of ownership from one of their older works, people aren't going to buy it. Or if they do buy it and they pay something, like, they're going to be pissed, and you're going to have some problems down the way.
Andras?
I don't have anything to add to it. I think it was the perfect answer. Okay,
cool. Yeah, so thanks, guys. Before we go off of the official part of the meetup, how do people reach out to you and your project? Can you just quickly share?
Yeah, like I mentioned, you can follow me on Twitter at NiftyTime. You can read my work at cent.co/Matthew. And again, I left my email out there, matthew.ferrick@gemini.com. Feel free to reach out to me there.
Okay, I also put my contact info into the chat. Please look at it. You can contact me at andras@ether.cards, or you can contact us at ether_cards on Twitter. And from that, from the description of the Twitter, the header, you can see our Discord server, and you can always find me there.
Cool. Thanks a lot, both of you. Yeah, so feel free to connect with each other afterwards. I'm sure you can find, or I can help as well. And let's hope to see a collaboration from Nifty Gateway and EtherCards, and maybe the ETHKL community and Jonathan especially can take some credit for that partnership in the future.
Thank you very much for everybody.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everyone for joining. I'm going to end the meetup officially and stop recording. If people want to hang around after this just to chat or ask questions, feel free. But otherwise, if you have to go off to go to sleep or to shower and do your early morning stuff, feel free to do so. Right. So thanks everyone. See you again next month.
Thanks everyone.
See ya.